you're going to need, obviously, if you're going to purchase a course from somebody that you trust or whatever it is, or you have to invest in that first. You got to invest into your own LLC, the resale certificates of the home state. But when it comes to the inventory, you can start with less than $1,000. Shoot, start with $100. But just know that you buy $100 worth of inventory, you're only going to get X amount return back. And then you just got to keep reinvesting that back into your business. So the good thing about FBA is that you go at your own pace.
Hi everybody, it's Brian and Ishani here from the Appeal Guru. And today we're hosting a short Q&A with a special guest, Andres Ortegano. He's the CEO and the founder of ResidualEcom. Now Andres is a very successful Amazon selling coach. He's based in Florida and he's helped many sellers grow their businesses and increase income through the automation process and FBA processes. So, hey, Andres, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And if you could just give us a little bit of background about yourself, what inspired you to become a seller coach, and how did you get started in this field?
Hey man, well, first of all, guys, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. This whole thing has been a very long time coming. To kind of like, number one, I'm Venezuelan, so I migrated to the U.S. when I was younger, right? So, and I like to share that to tell people that I do come from a third world country, right? So, we've experienced different things. I feel like I've always had that chip on my shoulder to help others in need and all that good stuff, right? So, quickly, I started e-commerce in 2019. Before 2019, I was a licensed mortgage loan officer in real estate. Very good career. It just didn't fulfill me, right? Even though I was helping people accomplish, their dream homes and their, American dream, like how people like to call it. The reality, I was putting them into a 30-year loan. That's just the reality of things, right? So so it just wasn't that fulfilling. I wanted to go somewhere where not only did like it fulfilled me and my family, but also that I can, potentially when I become, good at it, turn around and help others as well accomplish what I've accomplished. So 2019, I started e-commerce. I started as a salesperson for an Amazon automation company. But unfortunately, as you know, in this industry, there's a lot of bad things going on. A lot of people take advantage of others. And I quickly saw that. Like their ethics just didn't align with mine, right? So I decided to kind of like move apart from that, learn everything myself. I started my own Amazon store myself. I started drop shipping back then, right? When it was like, quote unquote, the hot thing to do. And I pretty much taught myself just by YouTube videos, watching courses and all that good stuff. And then as I started learning everything, I started hiring my own team. And then in 2020 is when I really, started to flourish, I guess. That's when ResidualEcom, I decided to, put the company out there. I wanted to create something because my main thing is integrity. Okay. I wanted to create something in the industry that people can trust with their investments, that they're not getting cheated. They're, like you guys already know how this industry works, right? A lot of big guys out there, unfortunately. So in 2020 we started, but we actually focused on Walmart, and we started the Walmart applications. I'm blessed enough to say that ResidualEcom actually grew to a size where we were catering to over 35 automation companies. So over 35 automation companies, they will refer us pretty much their clients to get them approved on Walmart and also to manage their stores. So ironically, I was actually the behind the scenes guy for a very long time. Growing other people's accounts, managing other people's accounts. I think we managed definitely over 200 of our own personal clients. And then we manage over like 500 of other automation companies. Okay. Now, I want to say, this year, 2023 is when I decided to, what? I wanted to create something for not for myself, right? So that's when I did the Amazon FBA course, which is called the Time Freedom Formula. And I wanted to create that because I think I had enough of being like the behind the scenes guy, right? Because all these companies, they're very good at marketing. They were just, it's not that they were pretending it was them, but me seeing their ads and the way they were, I'm like, man, I've been behind the scenes, guys. Time for me to come out and be like, guys, I'm the guy with the knowledge. I want to teach you what I've done, what's helped my family, um, live a very comfortable life. And pretty much that's where we're at right now.
All right.
Yeah.
So just so I know, I mean, at what stage did you stop doing your mortgage side and start just doing this full time? Was it like a side hustle for you at the start, or you just thought I'm gonna go for it?
So it was more of since I started doing sales for this other company, it was a commission based, right? It wasn't me running an actual store. Okay, because the transition would have been much, much longer, because I'll talk about the patience that you have to have in this industry to grow. But luckily, it wasn't that I transitioned from a mortgage loan officer to running my own Amazon store. It was more of okay, I was doing sales as a mortgage loan officer. Now I'm just going to start selling Amazon accounts or Amazon stores for people to invest into these done for you services. That's how I started. So I was very good at it because I feel like people do genuinely trust my word on what I say. And that's what made me feel like crap when I knew that what these guys were really doing, right? Because these people were entrusting in my word, didn't never talk to their owners or the company. They were more investing because of me. But I think it took me like about 2 months to realize, the money that I was getting from the commission of selling, these people's services, it already pretty much fulfilled the same income that I was having. So that's when I said, you know what, screw it, I'm all in into this, right? But then it was very tough when I found out what these guys were really doing, because once I left, now I have no income coming in from the mortgage side. Now I have no income here. Luckily, I've saved. I always had talk about the emergency fund and all that good stuff, but I pretty much gave myself 6 months, right? 6 months to start my own Amazon store, learning myself. And man, those days were hard because it was literally pulling all-nighters, researching, learning. I mean, just trying to get myself off my feet because, like I said, at that point, no mortgage anymore, and now no commission.
You're on board. You're
Right.
fully onboarded. That's right. I get it. It's
Yeah.
just that it's that transition. It is hard for a lot of people. It's like, they've got to juggle the day-to-day 9 to 5, and then you've also got side hustle or your second income stream. It's the time and effort that you've got to put into it to make it work, and that's the sacrifice. A lot of people, they don't, all they see is the glitz. Social media these days is like, oh, you can get a Lambo, you can, this is a lifestyle, but really, like you say, it's the hard work that you've got to put in there, for a set period, for the set period of time, and it's commitment and consistency. So that's the key words here.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
But from everything you've said, I absolutely love the fact that you started this, from a point of integrity. I think that's brilliant. But anyway, moving on to the next question. We were just wondering, so what are some of the most common challenges that your clients face, and how does your course help them overcome these problems?
I thought about this one, and I think is how straightforward I am. And this is the reason why I say this, because when clients come to us, the only quote unquote knowledge that they have of the e-commerce world is everything they see on YouTube, right? So they see the guy with the Lambo. They see the guy showing the screenshot of, oh, we just did $1 million this month, right? They show all of this fancy stuff. They talk about the good, but then when they come to me, I sit them down and I'm like, all right, this number is not realistic because of this, this, and this. And if once you get there, it's going to take you X amount of money invested, which you don't have. It's going to take you X amount of years, which you haven't even started, right? And then that guy that's showing the Lambo has no kids or anything. You're a guy you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, you got 2 kids, so you're not getting a Lambo for you. Where the hell so I really sit down with them and I pretty much give them like a reality check of the industry, right? Because
it's also a very circumstantial industry, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, and look, I understand the guys that are, no shame in your game or anything like that about you showing your Lambo. I get it. That's what sells, right? That's not my type of lifestyle. I'm married. I got 3 kids. It's a different mindset for me. So The way that I teach, I guess to answer the question, the reality check, it's when clients come to me that I tell them, if you really want to run a successful business, you're not going to get those fancy things in the first 3-4 years if you really want to grow the Amazon FBA, because that's what we're teaching clients. Now, if you're somebody that's just trying to live paycheck to paycheck, even though you're just, hey, go ahead, do what you got to do, right? But when you really sit down with these clients, a lot of them come with the mentality of, okay, I'm starting this, you're going to teach me how to do this, and then in 6 months, I can quit my job. And I'm like, that's a little tough one there, you know?
Unrealistic. It's unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, it really is. So it's like it's hard. I guess that's like the biggest challenge for myself and for clients as well, that they come with a certain mentality because that's all they see on the internet. And then I sit down and I kind of give them like a reality check or set the right expectations. And now they sit down, now they start questioning like, okay, so maybe this is not as good as I thought it was.
And
Right.
it's such a common theme you see with social media, like the influence of it in a very negative way. But I like the fact that you're quite realistic and, you know, you come and tell them how it is.
Yeah, like it's good to have those things. Don't get me wrong. I love cars, I love watches, you know, like it's good to have the fancy stuff, but you gotta, you know, I'm a strong believer in having the right foundation first,
Of
right?
course.
You build a house with the first thing is the foundation. You can't think about what windows, what freaking flooring you're gonna put if the walls are not even up yet.
Very
Like,
true. Very true. Good. That's a good analogy.
Yeah, that lot, I take it, obviously, but
Yeah.
it's about, you know, it's the asset, it's the cash flow, right? You know, I'd rather put the money
Yeah.
of acquiring that Lambo and put it into my business and you know, scale it. Use that money to scale it. So, you know,
exactly.
instead of a depreciating asset, you want to put it into a business that's going to grow. Yeah,
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
Okay, we've got the next question. How do you stay up to date with the latest trends? And I know, you know, in the e-com game, you've got a lot of things happening. You know, Amazon does this one day, you've got new tech coming out, you've got, you know, policies keep changing. How do you stay up to date with the latest trends, and, you know, what's the best practice in sales, and how do you incorporate this knowledge into your coaching sessions?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So the biggest part that I want people to understand is, because I know a lot of people out there in the internet, they'll be selling a course, they'll be selling a service, but they're not in reality, they're not actually doing the business today, right? They've transitioned from, they were doing it maybe a year ago. Now their course or their services are selling so well that they kind of forget about the actual business and they're more focused on selling their stuff. So the reason I stay, or how I'm able to stay up to date, is because I personally have 2 Amazon stores myself. Um, I still manage other people's accounts currently, right? So that I cannot escape it. Like if there's a change, I have to
Yeah.
know, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's important for people that are watching this is to understand that, you know, my core, it's not just, I'm just a guy that threw a course together with some knowledge that was, you know, knowledge from 3 years ago. You know, I'm actually every single week or so, I'm updating the course. So like my course, I haven't seen this. And if you're doing if you're a course maker and you're doing exactly what I'm about to say, God bless you, because I feel it's the best practice. But on my course, every title has a date next to it. So that way, let's say you guys purchase the course, you're gonna see when I launched that video. So like, let's say you buy it today at March 14, and then in June you see there's a video that says June. You're like, hey, that's a new video. I gotta
It's
watch it.
updated. It's updated version. Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely updated. Yeah, there's really no way for me to escape it. I mean, we're managing currently quite a bit of other people's accounts because we still provide you know, we're a management and consulting company. So we have a done for you service as well for people. So we can't escape it. We're constantly we're learning anything that I learned that I feel like it's good knowledge, I've recorded, put it into the course. I mean, the course currently that we launched it currently with like about 78 videos, and I already have a list of another 35 videos that I have to record. And that's just the beginning. I mean, we're gonna keep updating everything. So my my whole thing, guys, is transparency, and I'm not one to kind of, you know, keep my secrets to myself, like a lot of people do. Everything that's in my head about the business is in that course, and I'm gonna be updating it more and more and more. And it's just gonna get more advanced, right?
Definitely.
But the way that the course is set right now is definitely for somebody who's a beginner or intermediate. And just with the videos and the content that's inside today, you guys can start, a very successful Amazon FBA business without a problem. But as time goes, I'm going to be putting in advanced stuff. So it's yeah, I'm constantly going to be updating. I can't sleep right. Me knowing something that my clients or students don't know. I just can't. I got to make sure that everybody knows every single little thing, the good and the bad, right?
No,
Do you have like a set group for your students, and they've got like you've got a own community for them?
So yes, so we once they sign up, they will be on. We use Google Chats. We find that is to us is easier, just because all you need is a Gmail. It's free for
yeah.
everybody, so clients are not having to pay anything. And my support team is there 24/7. I do have a rule in my company for my support team is nobody goes unread within 24 hours. So everybody's questions get answered the same day. Obviously, there's people that are in the UK.
Mm.
I'm from Venezuela. I got international students. I got US students, and there's a time difference sometimes. But within 24 hours, your questions are getting answered. And the way that we do it is through video as well. So it's
Oh
very,
wow.
so depending on their question, we may even, share our screen and show them step by step of how to do it, right?
Mm.
On the course, we also have an FAQ question, which I haven't uploaded any videos on it currently, but every single question that we get from our students, if I feel like, okay, it's a repeated question, then we will be creating videos and putting that into the course as well.
That's brilliant because essentially for your clients then they don't just feel like, oh, they've bought this course and then they're left to it. I feel like there's constant interaction and accessibility to you and your sources, which I think is the biggest thing for a student because questions pop up all the time.
Yeah. Accountability. I feel like
Mm.
accountability, that's one of the biggest reasons. Like I remember when I was starting in 2019, guys, like I bought different courses. These guys that got a big following, they're very good at marketing. So they
Mm.
they sell it. But then once you get into the course, you feel like, okay, cool. There's certain little, gems in there
Yep.
that you're like, okay, cool, I've learned this, but there's no detail. Like I remember there
Mm.
was a course, again, not to throw shade on anybody, but I remember there was a course that they didn't even have like a step by step on how to list your item. So it's like if I have zero knowledge on the business,
Yeah.
how do like there's you know what I mean? So
And essentially, sometimes when you don't have that access as well to the person who's written the course, you kind of get demotivated. You're like, oh well, this is all just new to me. I don't understand how to do it, so you give up with it.
yeah.
So I definitely think your course, in that way, is really, really beneficial. But speaking about that, can you share any success stories where some of your clients have made significant progress after using your course?
Yeah, so again, with the course, we recently just launched it in 2023. I think we've had like about 4 or 5 clients that have already been, I think, selling, I want to say 3 months now, 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
Now, I know when you look at the date, you're like, how does that even make sense? It's 3, 4 months, and we're not even 4 months into 2023. It's because I launched the course officially in 2023, but I was working with a couple of
Of
clients
course.
at the end of last year to kind of get some feedback, get there. So I did a good friend of mine, and then I did a couple of family members, and then somebody that a brand new client that I don't know them, right? And they're doing pretty good.
Okay.
I think, they've been, and I'll send you guys a couple of videos so you guys can see. I really like to show people. So I'll show you, I'll send you guys a couple of videos. And I want to say, I don't want to give out numbers because it's probably changed now. But they've already had like, their first 100 units sold within like a month. They were already in the thousands. So,
Wow.
you know, they they're happy because these are people that they work their 9 to 5. I'll give an example of my friend. My friend has been in the insurance company. He's a yeah, insurance. Yeah, he's in insurance industry, and he's a manager there where, 9 to 5, working six
Yep.
6 days out of the week. His wife is a teacher, and you know, just an extra $1,000 for them means the world,
Of
right?
course.
And this is what a lot of people don't like. They don't talk about this, right? They always talk about, oh yeah, I quit my job, I'm a millionaire now. And it's, look, that's all good. But let's talk about the people that are just making $1,000. And just with that, now they can pay their car note. And then they grow their store to maybe $3,000 in profit. Hey, now they can pay the mortgage, right?
Mm.
So, it's not about, everybody's trying to quit the rat race, which yes, that's a good thing, but there's people out there that actually genuinely like their job. So they don't want to leave it. They don't
Yeah.
want to leave their career, but they also understand that unfortunately, we're in a time in society where side hustles is like a must now. It's not just like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, it, you
Uh,
know,
with
so
inflation, you've got everything.
Energy crisis. There's no way. There's no way. Yeah.
Everything prices.
100%, and again, I'll give another example. I have my aunt. My aunt, she's a single mother in her 50s, and her store, I think last month she did like $300 in profit just starting out, and that
Mm.
to her was like, wow, because her mentality, she's never had a business before. She's like the perfect 9 to 5 person. She's older. Hopefully she doesn't watch this and kill me, but she's she's older, so she's not like a millennial where it's tech savvy or anything like that. And
Mm.
and just helping out family, friends, and just anybody that, I just want people to understand that this business is going to take patience. But if you do it right, it will change your life. And changing your life, guys, I do want to say this, because every time I say change your life, people are just automatically, oh, $1 million. No, there's people that literally with an extra $500 a month, that changes their lives.
Of course.
And then there's people that $10,000 a month that doesn't even tickle anything, like they still need more, right? So whatever success means to whoever's watching this, this can potentially be a way for you guys to kind of, earn extra income, build your own business, live in your own time. And yeah, that's the reason why I call the course the time freedom formula, because I do generally want people to, feel free in a way, and do what they want to do in their own time.
And essentially, it's also more fruitful this way, where you grow slowly and steadily compared to those huge profits and then huge losses for some maybe. So it's definitely a better way to get it stagnated than
Yeah.
just
The quicker
shooting.
the quicker it comes, the quicker it's gonna leave.
Exactly.
That I,
Yeah.
things that are worth it is gonna take time. I know it's cliche, but it's very, very true.
And Andres, what sort of difficulties that do you think that most people will find when they start? Would you say it's more of on the capital side? Because obviously you need some sort of capital to start with. What's a good amount to start with? What's a comfortable amount to start with? And or have they faced operational issues? Getting the stock, getting the right products, uh, you know, selling it right. And I know there's a lot, and Ishani will know that we've had clients that's faced intellectual property problems that they've never thought of until Amazon closed.
It's always easier to get it right from the root than go all the way down, start
Yeah.
becoming a seller, and then having realized, oh, you're selling inauthentic products.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
So
one could face. I mean, just so understand from your perspective, what are the issues that they face?
So two challenges. One is internal. Okay. I want to talk about the internal side, of the actual client or student, and then I do want to talk about the business side. So let's go first with the business capital, right? The good thing about this is I've had students that have literally started with less than $1,000 for inventory, and they have, and then I teach them how to keep growing that and growing that and growing that, right? So when it comes to starting the business, you're going to need, obviously, if you're going to purchase a course from somebody that you trust or whatever it is, or, you know, you have to invest in that first. You got to invest into your own LLC, the resale certificates of the home state. But when it comes to the inventory, you can start with less than $1,000. Shoot, start with $100. But just know that you buy $100 worth of inventory, you're only going to get X amount returned back. And then you just got to keep reinvesting that back into your business. So the good thing about FBA is that you go at your own pace, right? With the capital that you currently have. So now to be able to scale, yes, a lot of people struggle with getting financing or hey, I'm only limited to my credit card limit. How can I grow more? So of course there's a lot of helps out, banks just want to throw money at people, but people don't, it's not that they don't know, it's just like they feel like it's hard to understand that. So a lot of them are afraid to just ask their bank, like, hey, can I get a business loan or an SBA or whatever it may be. But yeah, I feel like capital, when I was starting out, I believe I started with a credit card of $10,000. Obviously that credit card now it's six figures, right? It took, because the bank takes, you know how it goes. You got to spend, you got to pay it back, all that good
Your
stuff.
credit score needs to increase, yeah.
Exactly. You know, so there's a lot of little things like that, but I did remember in the beginning where I got really good at product research. That's one thing that I take pride in, is product research. I'm very, very good, and I've taught I think that's where the success is the product research. You're only as good as the product that you're selling, right? So you're watching this product research, be the best that you can, right? On that, because that's the most important. And the rest is just little, you know,
tweaks.
Yeah, a little clerical work, you know, but it's product research. But what I've noticed is I became really good at product research. I found like a huge list, but then I'm like, okay, I found all these really good products to sell, but I can only afford maybe 3 of them, right? So then it's like you're constantly, you know, waiting and getting. So I guess yes, financing, funds, it's what's really gonna it's gonna determine how much you can scale the store, right? So I would say product research, and definitely the money side of things. You just want to make sure, but I don't want people to get discouraged either, like, oh man, I don't have 100,000, so I can't grow this business. No, right? Just understand that you know, I always say, man, God gave you what you have is perfect. I always say this: what you currently have, your situation is perfect right now. You just got to see how you can better it and how you can, you know, grow from there. Which that leads to the other challenge that people have is patience. Okay, this is why I talk about the internal entrepreneur. I'm very big on mindset, because I do believe everything in life is a perspective. Everybody's going through something. Everybody has their highs. Everybody has their lows. Is how you pretty much act. How do you respond to those things, right? So you may have a student that has 6 figures to invest, right? And then you have somebody that has only, let's call it $500 to invest in inventory. Now, I don't want the people that only have the 500 to be discouraged, right? You just got to have the patience and understand that it's going to take you time to get there, but it's not that it's not going to happen. You just got to keep working and putting everything that I teach is you just got to keep doing it. The beautiful part, guys, is like once you learn everything, you just got to, it's just repeating.
It's just repetition. Yeah. Practice.
It's all it is. Right. So yeah, I think for clients, patience and understanding that it takes time. Of course, it's going to be easier for somebody who has a lot of money to invest because they can grow quicker. They're going to see bigger results much quicker. But if you are somebody that has less than $1,000, it's not that you can't get started, you know? Like I said, I think when I started, I know I said the credit card was 10,000, but liquid, I only had like about $2,000 or $3,000 in liquid. So because with FBA, you're buying inventory up front, you know that's not going to sell tomorrow, right? You're not drop shipping. It could take a month. The way that I teach is that you're buying inventory for a month. So that way, you know, in a month or a month and 2 weeks, because Amazon pays, you know, every 2 weeks, you'll have that full payment. That way you can pay down your credit card, right? But I always tell people that even if you have, I'll talk about my experience. Even though I had a $10,000 credit card when I started, I was only liquid 2 to 3 thousand that I allocated to this business. So I'm not going to spend $10,000 on a credit card, because then when that credit card bill hits,
yeah.
and the items, let's say you screw up on your product research and it doesn't sell like you thought it was going to sell, where the heck are you going to grab that money now? Because I've only had 2 to 3 thousand. So it's very important to play with what you have and understand your current situation, be smart about it, but understand that only things are going to get better from there.
You've got to be strategic, yeah.
Great. Can I just ask about your product sourcing? I mean, so for example, if somebody was only to start with like 1 or 2K, for me, I only know to source from like Alibaba and China. I mean, that's what a lot of people tell you. But would you just source it in the country that you're selling? So, for example, for you, it would have been the US. Would you just source your product there, or would you actually go source it on Alibaba?
So the way that we teach, because I know people watching this, Alibaba, AliExpress, they're very good, right? But a lot of the people that teach to source from there, they're mostly doing private label FBA. We do what's called wholesale and retail arbitrage, right? So we will source from retailers here in the US. I want to say, on my personal stores, I want to say 20% maybe retail, and then 80% is strictly wholesale. Now, out of the wholesale, I do have, I want to say, like 3 to 5 really good suppliers that are outside of the US. And the reason why I chose them is because of the products that they have really good. Of course, the pricing is always going to outbeat a US supplier, but their shipping, it's important to me, right? They're pretty fast shipping. Because if a shipping is taking 2 or 3 months, I'm not waiting 2 or 3 months on an item, right? You gotta send I gotta have my item in a month or less, right? But to answer your question, we mostly focus on wholesalers here in the US, okay? Brands. So I teach people how to go straight to the brand and open up a wholesale account with those brands. I teach them how to find distributors, wholesalers that have the right to sell certain brands. And also retailers, because surprisingly, retailers like Walmart, Costco, Sam's Club, a lot of people don't know. I mean, Walmart is just like, it's very cheap. You can find some really good deals, but a lot of people don't know that Sam's Club and Costco are actually wholesale pricing, right? They sell a lot of bulk, like things in bulk. So you're actually getting a better price when you sell it individually. So there's a lot of ways that you can find good suppliers. But yes, I teach, again, go to wholesalers here in the US, distributors, retailers, and then also strictly like go to the brand. The best thing you can do is go straight to the brand, because if the brand allows your company to sell, you literally become the wholesaler for that brand, right? So scalability there is amazing, and the ROI is only going to shoot up for sure.
Awesome.
Brilliant.
And I do want to add, guys, that what we focus on is selling items that pretty much we sell branded items that are already selling on Amazon, right? So for those of you watching private label, you might watch a lot of videos of like, hey, order from, Alibaba for, 50 cents and you sell it for $10, which the ROI is amazing. But what they don't talk about is that you're sourcing from them because you're creating your own product with your own brand. Then you have to, that item doesn't exist on Amazon. So when you list that item, it's going to be on page number, who knows, 10 or 12, but 80% of the sales are done on page 1. So the way that you got to rank that item up to page 1 is by advertising and putting in marketing dollars, which is PPC. Then you got to trademark your own product. So you're kind of creating your own baby, which is good. It's good for your ego because, hey, you're creating your own little product, but you're probably out 10, 15,000 before you even get the first sale. That's private label. I don't teach that. What we teach is how to find products that are already on page 1. They're a branded product, any brand. Let's talk about, I don't know, let's say Nike, right? The Nike shoe, everybody knows Nike. You just got to find the shoe that gives you good margins, and then you have to find a supplier, whether that's going straight to Nike, and opening up a wholesale account with them, or maybe finding a distributor that allows you to wholesale from them. You just got to find a good margin and start selling that. But guess what? The item is already ranked. It's already selling. All you got to do is match the best price. Okay. Never undercut it, guys, because then you become in a freaking pricing war. But just match the main guy and you will get sales, right? And I didn't spend, number one, I didn't spend nothing on trademark. You know, that supplier probably takes like a week to ship the items to us. Let's call it 2 weeks to ship the items to us. So, and then I'm spending zero on marketing dollars. So our only expenses are literally how much the item costs, if there's any shipping, and then obviously the FBA fees, and you're shipping to Amazon after you obtain the item. So you're saving a lot of money and making more, of course.
It's an efficient way of selling.
I like it more. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but I feel like if you're just starting out with, like I said, you can start this with less than $1,000. You cannot do private label with less than $1,000. You need pretty hefty amount of, you need a good budget to get started, for sure. So this is a really good way for people to get started. As they become experts and they become good, hey, if you have like a product idea, go for it, because the ROI is amazing. I mean, when you're gonna get way, much more for sure. But this is a way for you guys to get started and make good money right off the bat.
Right. Next question, Ishani, do you want to?
So yeah, I was just going to say, how do you actually handle difficult clients or difficult situations where progress is slower than expected and they might be getting frustrated, or they might be getting, just difficult in general?
So that's a good question. So it's very rare, and it's not to toot my own horn, but I feel like people get frustrated when the expectations are not set from day one.
Cool.
Okay. So like I've expressed before, I talk about the worst case scenario. Like, even though I know a client is going to make, let's say $10, I'm talking to them about 50 cents, right? I'm saying, hey, 50 cents is what you're going to make. So that way, when they make $1, like, holy crap, right? So I always like, when I talk to clients, and even in my course, in the videos, I stress the importance of setting the right expectations, right? So when you set the right expectations and you're talking about worst case scenario, we shouldn't have any complaints after. But the way that I do handle those clients, because we are people and people are people, we got stressed out. Especially, I've noticed the trend is always, students or clients that they made the investment because they were in a good financial state in their life, but then life happens and now they're not so good there, right? And the results are slowly coming. They get just like, it's like, I know I know you set the right expectations, but I still feel this way, right? So, I mean, I just kind of remind them. I remind them where I came from, because I can only talk about my personal experience. I can't talk about yours. I can only talk about mine. So I tell them exactly where I started, where I'm at, and I set timelines. Okay. And I kind of remind them of that first initial conversation we've had. And that kind of, tunes them down a little bit. They go back to like, okay, you're right, and all that good stuff. But that's why I talk. That's why I say the toughest part for clients and students to understand is patience.
Yeah.
Because especially in today's society, guys, shoot, if I order something on Amazon, it arrives at my doorstep tomorrow. Before it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
I remember back before the internet, it's like I had to go get my butt to the store to go pick it up, and but there was no gas money, so I had to wait like 2 weeks to get it, But yeah, so we live in this society that everything is just like today, like I need it today, and then it doesn't help if everybody that's putting videos out there in the internet that, oh, I became a millionaire in a month, so it's like,
yeah.
So that's why I talk about the mentality of things, because it's a very tough battle from what you see in social media and what society throws at your face versus the reality of getting there, right? Everybody sees the good things, but nobody saw how hard that person had to work. It could have been 5-10 years before they finally hit something, right? So,
So that
but
mind battle with like greed and patience, and where do you mark the line?
exactly, exactly.
All right. That sounds like me. I already wanted stuff like yesterday and the day. But then, and I think in my journey, I sort of figured out, I need to settle down a little bit more, because for me, not every product works. I'm a little bit like you. It's like, I keep testing different products. And not every product works. So it was just more coming down a little bit, making sure that, building the foundations, building that consistency. And that's really, really important. So I really resonate with you on that.
And I like that you said that, because it's important for people to know that you might be the best product research person out there. And let's say you buy five different items for your inventory, but then you soon find out that only one actually is selling like you thought it was going to sell,
Yeah.
right? So you keep buying that one item, and then the other four, you just wait for it to sell out. But okay, these are just not going to work. They didn't work as what I thought. And that's what I feel like. I do want to add this. Another difference between the way that I teach and others is that even though I know my product research is clean and I'm like, okay, this is a winning item, I'm not gonna throw $5,000 or $10,000 into that one item when I haven't even tested it at Amazon. So I teach, look, be very conservative when you buy your inventory. Buy inventory that's worth 1 month, because in that 1 month, number one, it's gonna sell out, but you're also gonna understand, okay, it's not selling like I thought it was. So guess what? Not so much. Or hey, this is actually run out of it in 2 weeks, so now I gotta go buy more. So it's important that's the game. Product research is the game. You're gonna keep testing different things. You're gonna fail more than you're gonna win. But that's why I teach to be very conservative and don't go crazy buying inventory, because you just never know what's really gonna happen.
I'm with you 100% on that. It's like, you don't want to bet just on one product, even though you're emotionally thinking, okay, this, or even sometimes on the research software, it tells you, oh, look, there's not many competitors, looks good. But realistically, do you know that product well? Do you know your market that well to make that bet? So
Yep.
so I think it's about experimenting, but careful and managed experiments. that's gonna be driving that consistency up for you, right?
Exactly. Because when you do, a lot of people don't talk about this, and I do want to share this. When you do product research, let's say I find a really good product and there's, let's say, 5 sellers selling that same item, right? Because remember, the way that I teach is we're going to be selling an item that's already being sold by different sellers. So the product research, the software, the tools that we use, the data that we have is today's data, right? It's today's data with 5 sellers. But now a lot of people don't talk about this. But now if I'm gonna add myself as a seller, that changes the whole buy box algorithm. That changes all of the stats. And that's me coming in today. But let's say now you are somebody across the world and you're like, hey, now I've become number 7, but then there was number 8. So it's constantly changing. So that's why it's very important that it's obviously the numbers that you have when you do your product research, they may be good, but it's like you said, don't put all your eggs in one basket, because the algorithm's going to change. Probably it's not going to sell as good as you thought it was going to sell now that, let's say, 5 other sellers started selling the same item. So
also,
yeah.
so many products nowadays are seasonal, some are in trend, some aren't in trend. So I think that also then, has a correlation with the algorithm changing.
100%. And that is, I'm glad you say that, because the way that I teach, like actually in my course, I give like literally a checklist of my product research criteria, and I focus on consumable products, right? Because notice how a lot of the trendy items are more like, I don't know, like a brush, or like I like beauty. Like beauty is so baby beauty, everything that's consumable that we know clients just need it again. That's what we like to focus, because those are like the everyday items, quote unquote. So we know we're gonna have sales 365 days out of the year. So I try to stay away from seasonal, or like you say, trendy. The trendy ones are good, but then it's like you just don't know where in the wave you're really buying that item, because if you're buying
Yeah.
it where the wave is about to go down, well, now you're stuck with a bunch of inventory,
Mm.
right? So I like to focus on just like everyday items that are consumable, and obviously big brands that we know are going to sell.
And
Brilliant.
there's a lot of good golden nuggets in that one, Andres. Thank you so much. We're going to wrap this up now. So yeah, we really appreciate your insights and your experience in Amazon selling. What we do want to tell the audience is that please do check out Andre's website, which is ResidualEcom. And if you're looking to improve your ecom business growth, do hit up his website and check it out.
And definitely purchase the course. Sounds brilliant.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that's brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Hey guys, so I wanted to show you a couple of clients that went through my course and all that good stuff. Again, these were clients that I started helping before I officially launched the course. I think this specific client's already 4 months out of, from me teaching them and all that good stuff. So I wanted to kind of show you a little bit of their numbers. First off, I want to say thank you to the client for letting me and giving me access to their account so I can show you guys. So as you can see right here in this little graph, today's sales, he's already had $481 in sales, okay, which is that's pretty good. He has about 37 open orders, okay. This number right here, the 1556.92, that means that Amazon owes him this much, okay, which will get paid out the next following period. So when we look at today's sales, let's look in the last 7 days. The last 7 days, he has sold 73 units at $1,700 in gross sales. The last 15 days, he sold 114 units for $2,700 in gross sales. And then in the last 30 days, he's done 4,700, and that's 195 units in pretty much sold. So it's not bad. Now, remember, guys, these are gross sales. This is not going to be profit. Okay. I actually teach my clients to obtain anywhere between 20% and higher. I believe I did the numbers. We're around a 39% ROI. So in this case, this client, if we look at, if we do this right here, let's say it's 47, 30, 10. Let's say he's doing a 30%. Let's not talk about 39. Let's say a 30% net profit margin. Okay. He's looking at pretty much in 30 days, he's done $1,419 in net profit, which is really, really good. Again, and this is on average. We've had clients that find items that are 100 plus ROI, 40%, 50%, 60%. I mean, the list goes on and on. All right. So that's one of the clients. I'm gonna pause the video. I'm gonna show you guys a second client right now. Perfect, guys. So this is a second client. I believe this client is I think he's in the third and fourth month as well, but this client actually has more capital than the other. As you can tell, just today in sales, he has $23.99. He has 38 open orders, and Amazon owes him about $2,500 in funds. Okay. Now, when we take a look at his just today, he sold 1 unit. In the last 7 days, he sold 194 units with $4,700 in gross sales, which is great. In 15 days, is 49.23 with 204 units. And then in the last 30 days, is 209 units. So you can see that in 30 days, he's sold a total of 209, but in 7 days, he sold 194. So you can tell that he's starting to pick up and really starting to scale his store, which is great to see. All right. But yeah, guys, this is just a couple of students that went through the course. They followed all the instructions. Obviously we're there to guide them and help them as much as we can as well. But it's really cool to see, the success that these guys are having. And I can't wait to see them scale, year 1, year 2, year 3, and so on and so forth. All right, guys. Thank you.